Also, be prepared to explain how the kidney will respond when autoregulation fails. Okay. So, here we are. Now, we're going to draw this just in a square. Let me see if you guys know. It's big.
Did you ever get Atari's called paper?
Atari?
I don't know.
They just released a bunch of stuff.
I didn't know they were still around. Like, now I'm heartbroken.
And you still give them that price? Really?
Maybe I
No, they were just selling them over this holiday period.
Man, Paul was it.
I don't understand the
But the
whole-
thing of it is now, is you just get the joystick and it has all the games loaded in it. You just plug it in the TV and play the old classics.
Pac-Man,
One,
Pac-Man.
And Donkey Kong
yeah,
and Centipede.
Centipede was like my favorite.
Yeah.
Galaga.
Yes.
Those were back in the day when I actually knew how the controllers worked.
The one button didn't throw you off. I can do this, right? One stick, one button. Now, you guys remember this? Like when we first got our hands on that, you would play and you would move the joystick.
Yeah.
Remember that? Yeah.
I still do, I have to admit it.
So, there's a big G.
Various.
Glomerulus, okay. What's this tube? What's this tube? Bring in the blood.
Efferent.
Okay, so this is our
Efferent.
afferent because it is arriving.
Bless you.
And then this is our efferent because it is exiting. Now these are both arterioles, which means blood vessels that have muscle around the outside. That muscle can contract or dilate. Now, this tube that's leaving is called the PCT, proximal convoluted tubule. And this tube will eventually wrap around and get to this location. So this tube right here is the DCT, the distal convoluted. So this will eventually get to here. Now, there are a group of cells here called the macula densa. Now, remember what they're doing. They are sampling. Yes, they are taste testing this fluid. So we call this quality control. The macula densa is sampling the filtrate for electrolyte levels. And they basically can detect two things, well, three things. We have three possibilities. The electrolyte level is just right. The electrolyte level is too high. The electrolyte level is too low. So those are our choices. Now, if it's just right, are we going to do anything? Or just let it keep doing what it's doing? Keep on going. It's perfect. I'm not going to change. Now, if
However.
however, what's that from? However, there's a source to that. If electrolyte is
You're not talking about biolink West. She said, we women.
no, however, There's something else, I can't think of it. If the electrolyte is too high, that's what that arrow is, too high. We need to constrict the arterioles. Okay. So that means you push the blood through here so fast that they dumped so much electrolyte, it went through all the tubes, and by the time it got to here, man, we still have a ton of it. It means you're doing it too fast. You're blowing the electrolyte through too fast, so you need to slow down. So what are we going to do these? Constrict them down. If electrolyte is down, what do we do?
That's an arrow point.
Need to dilate arterioles. All right, so in this instance, we haven't clamped off. Well, just a little bit of filtrate was made. So not very much. They reabsorbed all of it. So by the time it got to here, there's absolutely no electrolyte whatsoever. So they're like, well, we're going to have to open those up a little bit because you have to always be flowing. You can't close these off completely because the cells actually live on the filtrate. So if you don't have enough, the cells will actually die. So that's when we got to open it up. Okay. Now, this is the macula densa. These are the arterioles. What is in between?
Juxtaglomerular apparatus.
Yeah, this group of cells here. This, what did you say?
Speaking of drugs.
Yeah, it's just like, get that one with a snake and get around the podium. Okay, so this is the juxtaglomerular cells. Okay. Now, the macula densa picks up the value, so it's the detector, and it's going to send a response to these cells, which will in turn send the neurotransmitter to the muscle in these blood vessels. So this says, okay, electrolytes are high, you need to tell the blood vessel to constrict, so they send the right thing to these to make it constrict. Now, if electrolyte is low, the macula densa says, oh, electrolyte levels here are low.
Open up.
Yeah, we better put electrolytes in here. Electrolytes infiltrate here inside. So it says we're running low, tells the juxtaglomerular cells you got to make them open up so then they dilate. Now, we're going to check this again in a few minutes. So when we check again, if they're still low, what are we going to tell them to do?
Open up more.
Dilate some more. We're going to come back in a few minutes, check that again. If there still is an electrolyte, what are we going to say? Dilate to the max. Okay, so now they're all open, full bore. And what if there's still not electrolyte?
You better get your butt
These
to
are
the
Other
doctor.
screw.
Okay, but we got a backup plan. Yeah,
Of course.
Yeah. so this is when this process of constricting and opening, that's called autoregulation. But you can only dilate to the max, and then what happens?
Then you're just gonna explode.
This thing is all the way open, okay, so it's like this. You go to the faucet, you open it all the way. There's nothing coming out of your faucet.
I close down the
Yeah, so we're gonna call the water department and say, I got it wide open down here. I still got nothing. You need to increase
pressure.
the pressure on the whole system. Okay, so the kidney can call out to the rest of the system and make the whole system pressurized. And this is called the renin-angiotensin system. So it's based upon this. After maximum dilation, if electrolytes do not increase, then the juxtaglomerular cells release renin. Now there's a page in the book that takes us through all the steps. The rest of the system, we gotta know the page. C, H.
I can't see the word, I just put that way a
So
little
that
bit.
is 6, and then the renin is the angiotensin 1,
All right.
the angiotensin 2.
No, wait. Angiotensin 2 can do everything. That's the one that can do it all. The renin can't do nothing. Angiotensinogen can't do nothing. Angiotensin 1 can't do nothing until it goes to the lungs, where ACE converts it to angiotensin 2, which can do everything. So, yep. So that's an important part. 790, right here, he has it highlighted, framed with exclamation thing right there. So obviously it's important. So that's page 790, right, bud?
Yep.
790. Okay, so follow that through. So that process is important. Now, okay, if the kidney becomes like diseased, could it accidentally release too much renin?
Yeah.
And what will happen to your overall blood pressure? It will become excessively high, so much that the blood vessels could actually be damaged. And this is where we're going to intervene, and we're going to try to block this at the lungs. What's that med called? An ACE inhibitor. Okay, so that description on 790, that's the frame, the template that gives us an explanation of the ACE inhibitor and how it can stop this blood pressure. You'll see in your patients sometimes an ACE inhibitor looks like, you give them a little bit, man, it drops the pressure like crazy. That's because their blood pressure is coming from this kidney malfunction. Your other patient gets an ACE inhibitor, no change, nothing. It's like, I'm like, you taking that? You know what I mean? They got a bad batch here, what's wrong? It's because their hypertension is based on something else. It's not the kidney doing it. So that's why you get dramatic results and then no results. That's an important thing to remember. This whole process is to keep the filtration rate steady. Your blood pressure goes up and down, the kidney makes adjustments. If it can't adjust it on its own, it will release renin. That's what they say is when autoregulation fails. That's when the renin comes out. You want to hear another story? I got another. My roommate, he was actually from Canada, and he's from Canada, and up there they have quite a few like motorcycle gangs. So he was running like this motorcycle gang, and they